Recording.
All set, Brian. Meeting is being recorded.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Today is January 19th, 2021. The time is 10:32 a.m. This is the Economic Development Committee meeting. And with that, I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and
to
to
the
and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all.
All right, thank you. So, I think we still have an open meeting minutes from, was that October 20th, that we haven't had a chance to approve. Is that the right ones? The last ones you did, Todd? I don't think we've approved them yet. I think they're all the way back to October 20th. So I don't know. You're on mute, Todd.
My apologies. Yeah, I believe that was our in-person meeting.
Yeah.
And then the last meeting we had, I have notes. I haven't submitted those yet, but I don't know if we had a quorum the last time. Did we? Regardless, I'm sorry. I can get those put together and submit and send those over to you, Brian, for the last one.
Yeah, I'd have to check and see. I don't know if you had a tally. I'd have to go back to the recording and see how many people we had.
I can check my notes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the December 19th, right?
Correct.
Meeting. And I think Kerry was at that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if I don't know, if anybody has any comments or questions about that October 20th meeting on the meeting minutes that Todd put together, I'll open that up to see if there's any discussion on that.
No, thanks for taking the minutes, Todd.
You're very welcome.
I can make a motion to approve if you're looking for that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, does anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No nays, so let the record show that Brian, Jason, Mark, and Todd approved the minutes for the October 20th, 2020 meeting for the Economic Development Committee. And then we can, I guess we got to get those printed, Todd, and get them over to the clerk so they can be stamped.
Okay.
For record to complete that. Okay, so that's and I assume, I don't want to make any assumptions, Todd, but if you still continue to be okay, unless someone else wants to take the meeting minutes, we're supposed to be having a revolving secretary. If you're okay with,
I have no problem. And my apologies for not sending over. I do have all my documented minutes from the last meeting, so I'll prepare those over the next couple of days. And I'll send the October. I don't know if that needs to be printed on a letterhead, but I believe I already forwarded those over to you for the October. But then I'll do the same for the December 19th ones.
Yeah, and then Bill, maybe can you print them out and unless I don't know what I can go to the town hall, or is it something you could print and bring over to Lori or Jackie? For
Sure.
stamp?
Yeah, no problem. You can do it by email as well, but I can bring them down if you want.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I kind of want to jump around a little bit. I want to give Kerry some time to talk about the study that she provided to us, and I shared it with the group already, but a couple other items before we get to that, because I want to, that would be the last item. And Bill, any update to the Stephen Mills and Camden properties that you can share with the group?
It's kind of the status quo. I don't think they made a lot of progress so far. We did discuss with them the PACE program, which is an energy conservation program run by by Mass Development. It requires the town to opt in order to make them eligible for that program. It's a way to finance energy improvements, which will be a major component of their project. The way it works is that the funds that they borrow are recaptured through a town assessment to betterment on the property. So it comes in with the tax bills. The town treasurer would then transfer that portion of the tax bill to the lender so that they receive their payments. So it does have a town involvement in it. And I'm not sure yet whether they want to go that route or not. They're still, I think, working pretty heavily on their financing. They have a lot of different ways to go with financing the project, and they're trying to evaluate those. So I don't really have anything definitive to report other than I know they're still hanging in there. They are working on it, and they are doing their due diligence in terms of financing. So that's about all I have on it at the moment.
So the PACE program, is the town interested in opting in, or that's still up in the air?
We haven't brought it to the selectmen yet. We're waiting for the developer to get back to us whether they want to pursue it or not.
Okay,
It's not a heavy lift for the town. It doesn't cost the town anything. But it does require the town to set up the software in order to be able to process the tax bills and then collect the payments and pass those on. So it's not a lot of work, but it is, a little bit here and there. I think, if they were interested in doing it, I'm fairly confident the town would agree. We're trying to help them facilitate that project in any way we can. So that would be one way we could help.
okay.
Are they meeting with Mass Development already, Bill?
Not that I know of. I was contacted by Mass Development and had a conversation with them. And then I passed information on to the principals of Camden. We then had a Zoom call and went over the program. And at the end of the meeting, they were, going to look into it and consider it. But I don't know if they've made any concrete steps yet to get involved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about the Stephen Mills from the group for Bill?
I do not.
Okay. I don't suspect, Bill, that you've heard anything on our grant application as of yet.
No, I would have thought we would have heard by now. I know they're pretty aggressive in wanting to get contracts out by the end of the month. We're on the 19th today, so I would assume we'd hear this week sometime.
Right.
Then, we'd get a contract with the state to receive the funds, and then we'd have to contract with a consultant to do the work. And I'm not sure how that process is going to work. I don't know whether we get to pick the consultant or whether the state does for us. So I would assume that would take a couple of weeks. So maybe by the middle of February, we'd get that project underway. Carrie, do you know whether we pick the consultant or whether one is assigned to us?
They're matched by the state.
Okay.
We don't have, when we have applied to be a consultant, and we're opting to take on 5 communities
Okay.
at the max. And in the application process for the consultants, it says if there are certain communities or certain reasons why you should be working with certain communities, but they've made it loud and clear that we have no say.
Okay.
And Carrie, has any other communities been notified yet, or are we?
So I reached out to Bill Thursday or Friday of last week. I think Thursday maybe. Some of the communities have been notified because of the geographic regions that they've chosen. Some communities have chosen too broad of an area or too many smaller areas, and they asked to kind of hone down because of the number of applications that they've received. And I do believe if the application needed to be altered, you probably would have heard already. So it looks like you guys are good shape.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess in this case, no word is good word, right, Bill? So,
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to get funded, so it's not competitive, but it will be interesting to see which projects they
yeah,
deem worthy.
sure. Okay. Okay, we're holding our breath. We're patiently waiting. I mean, we're at the starting gate here, waiting to spring to action. So.
I love it. We're the same way in the community I live in. I think I've told you guys, I do a lot of volunteer work here, and we're in the same exact boat. We're like just ready to start going. And I can't wait to see what happens throughout the region. So we know of at least half of our communities, half of the 40 have applied. So it'll be great to see what happens.
Okay. So, any other open business or anything, Bill, that you care to share with the group?
Yeah,
before
I've got a couple of things, Brian. Our ADA plan, Americans with Disability Plan, is winding up. There's a public hearing on the plan Monday night with the selectmen at 6:30. The consultants will be presenting their recommendations for improving accessibility in both policies and in physical improvements to make all of the town's programs and buildings accessible to the public. So I would encourage folks to tune into that meeting. I think it'll be broadcast live, either on YouTube or Facebook. I'm not sure yet, but it will be, you'll be able to find that out before the meeting. So that'll be a very useful tool to help the town make changes to its policies, which would be fairly simple to make sure that we're in accordance with ADA standards, and to know what kinds of physical improvements the town needs to make. Then we can begin knocking those off. If they're small cost items, they can be done in-house. If they're larger ticket items, then we could certainly apply for funds and move forward in that way. So that's happening, and that should be a good thing. At the planning board meeting last week, we had a presentation by Gemma from CMRPC on the town's Complete Streets program. She had a PowerPoint style presentation, which we'll put up on the town website. Encourage folks to take a look at that. That program is intended to promote walkability, pedestrian access, transit, minimize impacts of automobiles. We're looking at the town's villages primarily and high traffic corridors for the kinds of things that need to be, kinds of improvements to improve safety, accessibility, such things as crosswalks, sidewalks, maybe other kinds of physical improvements such as bump outs, et cetera, to improve walkability in the town. So that has just gotten underway. They've done a fair amount of field work already. We've been fortunate this winter to not have a heavy snowpack, so we're able to get out and assess conditions. So that, I think, planning board has taken that on. They're pretty excited about it. They really want to try to improve pedestrian mobility in the town, and so they're going to be very interested in what comes out of that study. The third item I wanted to mention is that also at that meeting, we had a presentation by Lynn and Robert Doherty, who have a farm on Corbin Road. They're interested in growing marijuana outdoors. And they have been growing hemp on their farm for a couple of years and have had problems because they have exceeded the allowable THC limit. So rather than it being classified as hemp, it becomes classified as marijuana, which they're not authorized to grow yet. So they've had to destroy that crop after working very hard to get a very healthy and productive crop. So unfortunately, they're not properly zoned for that use. So the discussion with the planning board was what kind of rezoning would enable them to actually grow marijuana. So they have a long way to go, but they're very interested, and they seem like very sincere and very hardworking people. So I think they'd be able to pull it off. They also need to have a host community agreement with the selectmen and get through the Cannabis Control Commission licensing process. So they've got a long way to go, but without the proper zoning, they wouldn't be able to do anything. So I think we'll probably have an article at the town meeting in May to see if the town would support the rezoning to allow them to go forward. So I know that's sort of, it's consistent with the town's desires to promote agriculture in town. So I'm hoping that there would be support for it. It's really basically the same thing as growing hemp. It's just the concentration of THC in the plant. That's the main difference. Under the town bylaw, they would be limited to a tier 7 license, which is 60,000 square feet of canopy or growing area. So it's not going to be a huge operation. That's about 1.5 acres or so that they could put under cultivation. So I don't think it would have a major negative impact on the neighborhood if that goes forward. So those are a couple of things that the planning board has been working on.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, where did they start? Where is that Center Road? Is that a Center Road thing?
No, it's on Corbin Road.
Ah. Okay.
It's called Angel Farms.
Yeah, I might be thinking of a different one.
There's
Okay.
on the town webpage, there are a couple of photos of that shows a map of the property
Yep.
and their hemp operation. So if you're interested, you could look at that and see it's an agricultural kind of operation primarily. It's just that the state classifies marijuana as not agriculture and has a lot of regulations they need to comply with.
So I don't know a lot about, obviously hemp, and you're saying that as a byproduct, that or part of the hemp growing is they have to measure the amount of THC, and it just happens by natural selection or growing that the THC content just drifted into exceeding the composition of the hemp. And so instead of becoming, they want to be marijuana growers, or are they just doing this so they can salvage what they grow and it can be used as hemp?
Well, I think that they've just been frustrated with the results of their hemp operation.
I see.
Rather than go through that again and have to destroy another crop, through really no fault of their own, they feel that the marijuana cultivation would get them out of that, loop, and would be, financially beneficial for them. It's a valuable product.
Yeah.
I think they've got some potential buyers lined up already. So I think they've done some financial analysis, which shows that it would, help them keep their farm going, which is, farming is very difficult these days. So
Sure.
Could be a good thing for them.
Yeah, especially outdoors. And yeah, okay. Cool. Nathan, any other questions for Bill? Or?
I was just trying to see if there's other outdoor growing facilities in the area. And it looks like Hardwick and New Braintree are the only ones that are zoned for them right now. Would be interesting to see how this plays out. I know that growing hemp was one of the initial reasons of not the initial reasons of putting the Agricultural Commission together, but it was definitely the topic of discussion in the first meeting that we attended. So that stinks that it evolved this way.
I think Mrs. Doherty said there are 6 outdoor cannabis grow facilities in the state. So it's not a huge number. And, I wish them luck. I hope they can do it. It would, help keep that farm very productive.
Yeah, definitely. Something we'll keep our eye on as well. I'm trying to turn off my notifications. I don't know how.
Okay, nothing else, Bill? Are you good?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me for just one moment.
Ryan, you could skip to the town video update if you want.
Yeah, so one other thing, well, I mean, Mark, I guess, do you have anything on the video efforts?
No, I don't have any update on that at all. I know that the last piece was that we were going to send some letters out. Since Joanne hasn't been involved in the meetings, I have not had a chance to circle back with her. I know that I forget who. I don't know. I don't know if it was PJ or if someone did send us some information about the person to contact for video, but I did not have an opportunity to reach out to them, and I'm not sure if Joanne did or not. So,
Okay. Yeah, I have the gentleman if you need it.
oh, you got it. That's right, because you
Yeah,
had a meeting with them about something else.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought maybe Joanne had talked with Professor Russo at Nichols. Um, I know with the holiday, they haven't, I don't even think maybe they just started classes this week. They might be kind of getting active again. If you need his contact info, I don't have a phone number. I have an email. But I'm sure if you called Nichols, you could kind of go through the prompts. But if you need it again, whatever you need, just let me know.
Yeah, um, again, I know Joanne started this, and I don't mind, picking it up, but um, I just, it's not something that I can do by myself. And,
Right.
again, I think Joanne has been either busy or not able to get onto the calls. And so I'm not sure that she would be, partnering in on this, or if it would be, myself taking this on. So I was
Right.
kind of leaving it up to her since she started it to, continue with
Right.
it. But I hate to just keep talking about it and not having any information. I'm kind of a doer, not a, just sit and wait to see what happens. But um, I don't know. I don't want to step on her toes. And in the same respect, like I said, I can't do it by myself. So
Yeah.
if we want to, just, I guess I can reach out to her and find out if she wants to, reach out to this person, because you were kind enough to send that info. And I probably should have followed up with her and asked if she was planning on contacting the videographer, and,
Yeah.
but I didn't. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave that up to you how you want to handle it. It is on Joanne's. She's the lead on that, and until she says otherwise, that's the way it's going to be.
yeah,
Um, at some point, we'll, you know, either we're going to do it or we're not, right?
yeah,
I mean, it comes to a point where, let's pick up something else. If this one doesn't seem to be getting traction, we'll just do something else. We got plenty to do. I mean, the LRRP, we're going to be pretty wrapped up in that, and it's probably going to require everybody to pitch in,
yeah.
what we're going to do there. So, uh, however you and Joanne come to some terms with that, that's fine by us, I'm sure. So, it is the times, right? We got to kind of limited resources and what we focus on. And, Nichols is the same way too, right? I mean, they're busy kind of navigating their way through all of this, and, do they have time and are they interested? I know I talked to Professor Russo, and one of their main initiatives, as far as what they want to do, is really engage the community and working with small businesses and trying to leverage the video side of that department. They have great resources, and so what we're looking for them to do is within their vision, right? So I don't think that there's going to be a limitation. We just have to get in line, right? They've got different businesses that are leveraging their resources, and we just got to get in line with whatever they've got going on. And it is on semester by semester basis, because the professor is leveraging students, giving them an opportunity to learn something.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I didn't, I can give you the email, and, you and Joanne can hook up and, figure out how you guys want to address it. So,
Yeah, why don't you do that, Brian, if you don't mind, and I'll just reach out to Professor Russo and
okay.
I'll keep everybody in the loop.
All right. Yeah.
How did, I know that you had a personal project and not interested in the personal side of it, but where is the timeline that you had set forth for that? Is that, are they able to accommodate that timeline that you were on, that you were trying to do? So if I
Yes.
go and approach this professor, it's not going to be, oh yeah, well, we're delayed, or we're not going to be able to, it's something that he's taking on new projects and whatnot?
Well, so the answer, I think, did it meet my timeline? Absolutely. Actually, it was quicker than, but it's a timing thing, right? So what I mean by that is, here we are, it's the beginning of a semester. It's now time to kind of, and he knows that you guys want to work with them, and, and I think there was some dialogue with Joanne and he. So he's not going to be, brand new to the request if you send another email to remind him. Uh, and because it is the start of a semester, it's time, that it'd be good timing on your part if you were to, hey, remind him, don't forget us. And then he can start to identify students, right, in classes and groups, because that's probably what will happen. So there'll be a little time of that, but it'd be great if you got in there, you got on his radar, and then we could bang out these videos this semester with a group of students. I think the timing is right. My 2 cents. So,
Okay. Sounds good. I'll make it a priority. So if you can send that information, I'll jump on it and we'll get going.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Could I ask a quick question, Brian? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I had to step out for the beginning of that conversation. Which department is it at Nichols that you're working with?
His name is Professor Russo. He's in the trying to think of what they call it, but it's video. They have they invested a lot of money in it's a professional studio with all the lighting and the green screen in the back, and all the mixing of sound room, and they've really done a really nice job in making that investment. And so and so he brings in students, and they do the shoot, and they'll set up a however you want to be presented in your video. It's really nice. And then they could put backdrops in your video and do all the editing of the video and making a nice professional project. And I know because I went through the exercise with them. So I think that excuse me, I think that so yeah. So at any rate, so not only is it for students, but they love to engage, small businesses in the community. That's one of their visions, to
Oh, I
help
see.
small businesses, right? So that's one of the, main things that they're trying to do. And so, yeah. So,
Okay. Sorry, I just missed the beginning of it.
yeah. So,
What a great idea.
yeah. So anything else from the group that that is something, open discussion before we hand it over to Kerry?
Brian, I was just interested in the status of the survey. Has that gone out yet?
Survey.
The mailing?
So the mailings went out.
Okay.
I have been contacted by one person in town, small business. Again, I think for, anybody that's listening to this, I mean, we're here for you. You can come and join these meetings, and we want to hear your feedback. And that's the intention of the mailing. It's not about, you know, are you required to come to these meetings? It's just a, hey, FYI, we're here. We want to hear what, you know, what you're, you know, what we can do as a town to support your business. And, you know, that was kind of the email back and forth with this one contact. I know PJ, you know, I don't know how, you know, she sends the mailings and it really has, you know, my email address, but something she, I think, mentioned she was contacted by a couple other people from the mailings. I don't know how that happens because, you know, there's no contact, you know, contact BJ on the lettering, but at any rate, maybe she knew the people personally. So there's been a few people respond. So they did go out, they're out there. We've gotten a couple, few people, you know, raise their hand. Maybe they showed up at the town hall today, you know, at the, you know, waiting to participate in a meeting, but we had a Zoom call instead. So hopefully that didn't happen, but maybe that did happen. And so that's kind of where we're at right now, Bill.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad it went out.
Yep, it went out. And so unless there's anything else from the group, I'd like to you know, have Kerry kind of go into the study and see, you know, where we go from here with that fine piece of work there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bill, would you mind making me a host if you want
Sure.
to go through the actual study? So while you're doing that, I'll start with saying that
You're all set, Carrie.
thank you. I know I promised you in our last meeting a plan that was filled with colorful maps and not a lot of text, but I'll be honest, at about 8:30 on December 30th, I decided to scrap the whole plan and start over. It is text heavy, but it's a lot of important text. So we changed the entire format, spent the entire weekend revamping it, and I will say I'm really proud of how it came out, and I hope that you guys feel the same way. It's the third project of a 3-project initiative that we've taken with Webster and Dudley, and I do feel like I've been working in Dudley since the day I started at CMRPC in the middle of 2018. We've gotten to know a lot of stakeholders. We've had a lot of important conversations. We've done a deep dive into both communities. I did actually add Ken's name to this plan because before he passed away, I did spend an afternoon with him trekking around from trail to trail. He really believed in the trail system in Dudley and what it could bring to the economic portion of the town. So I thought it was important to add that into the plan as well. My colleague Ron Barron is the one who decided the third stage of this project would be the corridor study. And I do think it's the kind of the icing on the cake for all the work that we've been doing. So with that, I'm going to see if I can swap over. Actually, does anybody have any questions before I start? Did everybody get a chance to see it? Okay. There we go. Okay. So I have to move your faces because I can't see.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's the Webster Dudley Corridor Study 2020. We did start this project with a completely different, almost a completely different administration. We worked with the previous town administrator briefly, but definitely with Don Johnson and definitely with John Breyer when he was the chair of the EDC. And obviously since now, Bill. And Brian and John Ruda have taken over. So this is the portion about Ken that I mentioned. I hope you don't mind me adding that. Like I said, I thought it was an important part of this project. So we have the table of contents.
Carrie, there were a
Yeah.
couple of folks that you missed in the credits.
Okay.
If you, other members of the EDC, perhaps. There's a typo in Mark's name as well.
Oh, okay. You know what? I was going to ask about that. I'm trying to think if this is a better way to do it. If I can edit those today.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So the table of contents, the plan elements, which are just all of the different maps and figures and tables, kind of as a quick reference. The introduction as to how the project started. The combination of the study areas, the preliminary details of the preliminary meetings that took place that decided the study areas. This portion here discusses all the prior planning that went into this and prior plans that were referenced throughout the study. This is a combination of all the different meetings that took place in the beginning stages of the study. Different businesses that we were able to meet with. We did attend some chamber events and WBDA meetings, and we've had some other meetings with stakeholders one-on-one. We then go into the demographics and the census data, which is important for any project to know who lives in the area that we're dealing with. We had to add this portion of COVID because of the effects that it's had, not only on the plan, but on the communities. The labor information, I think, is really important. And, as you look back on this plan in the future, you'll realize what this pandemic did to our communities. And then we take a deep dive into the land use and the parcel analysis. We have the different land use in both communities. There's the Webster, and here's the Dudley. This goes into the mixed use development zoning for each community, tax information, kind of a what's what in the study area and how it's broken out. I think there were 397 parcels total. And then this area, the next area is the commercial mix between the two communities. Different housing in the study area. This just focuses on the Main Street portion and the different business breakdown. And then we did mention the overlay districts. Then parking. This is the part it's a little Webster heavy because of the parking. Then we decided to add in the agricultural. Like I said, we did start this project. One of the main focuses of our second study was the creation of the Agricultural Commission. So we wanted to add the agricultural components into this study. And then I thought this was pretty interesting, an aerial view of the study area that shows Stevens Mills. And then we had to add the transportation, and this consists of transportation, traffic, trails, transits, and a little bit more of a discussion of how the trails intersect. These are all the traffic counts that were taking place, and then it goes into the trail system, the French River Greenway, and how it can connect eventually into the Quinnebog and then into, into the state of Connecticut and Rhode Island. It's really interesting. And then we tried to delineate how we could eventually connect to the college, which was, this has also been a #1 priority since the beginning of our work here in Dudley. This highlights the transportation. This is the new transit shuttle that has been added in the past few months that connects Webster, Dudley, and Southbridge together. And then we head into the goals and objectives matrix. So we kind of divided this into 5 areas. So we have the connected Main Street, which was the focus of this study, the walkability and the trails, which pedestrian friendly and trail capacity always lead to positive economic development and for small businesses. And then a little bit more into business investments, and then the institutional collaboration, which is the Nichols connection that we've been talking about. And then the last goal is, or the second to last, is agricultural. I think agricultural is in there somewhere. Yes, the agricultural investment. And then here is what we've pulled out for zoning to take a look at closer for both the communities. And that's the plan.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
It is.
Very well done. Yeah,
Oh, thank you
seems
very much.
all inclusive.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Thank you. The second project that we worked at in Webster Dudley didn't really have a final plan. It was more of multiple meetings and conversations and Stephen Mills and connecting Dudley with some of the state agencies that we worked with and keep making sure Dudley and Webster were in the conversations. So there is a little bit more this is a little bit more in depth than it typically would be because it's kind of 2 projects into one. If there's anything, like I mentioned in the email, I mean, if there's anything that I missed or anything that I can't imagine anything we've overlooked, but if we did, maybe something we weren't aware of, I'm happy to add this in.
Well, this is good stuff. So, it's a lot of information. So, so what can this group do what are the next steps, Kerry, with this? And, explain to me, and, Bill, and this is one of my first times where, a fresh piece of, study like this has become available for the town during my tenure. What typically happens here, and what can we as a group do to, if anything, to facilitate, or if that's what the typical outcome of this is? I'm just, I'm kind of naive at this point, right? So.
Well,
Yeah.
Carrie, I think you've done, a really nice job with the study. And I think, your matrix here is a good way for, to assign responsibility to different boards and committees in town. And I think the EDC could sort of be the overall champion of the plan, but is not going to be the one that, implements all of these recommendations. So it'd be nice to assign these to different, town bodies. And the EDC could maybe, in some fashion, whether it's a meeting or a Zoom call, whatever, with different boards in town, sort of highlight the study and indicate to these bodies what this plan says they should work on, so that overall we can improve the economic conditions in the town. So there are a number of things in here, for example, that could go to the planning board, the zoning amendments in particular. I was very interested to read about Carrie's thoughts about modifying some of the dimensional standards for the business district to try to create more of a Main Street feel. Uh, Parking regulations were another focus of the study, which I think the planning board could look at. So, so I think there's, so many things here to work on.
Yeah.
So I think the EDC could be the overall, umbrella under which these things move forward.
Now, Kerry, you would take any edit recommendations or anything? Let's say, are we the only reviewers of this plan and you're receiving feedback from the town, from us alone? Because what I'm trying to get at is when you say that this plan is done and ready for release, then my next question would be to Bill and, who's the one who's going to take this plan and walk it around town to the different boards and make sure that I understand who's doing that. And if it's me, then, I can help. I'll do it. I just want to make sure I know, where the responsibilities lie with getting this disseminated into the town.
Yeah, so typically what would happen is the EDC would be the ones who kind of decide who, not necessarily when, but decide who could take over some of the goals, like Bill said.
Okay.
Like a lot of the agricultural portions could go to the Agricultural Commission, which is one of the reasons why it was set up.
Mhm.
And then the trail, I'm not sure who's taken over the trail work since Ken passed away, but there's a lot that can be done there just to finish what he started, or look into funding for trail expansion. And then like the EDC portion the EDC can focus on the connected main streets and the business investment portion. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
deciding who gets to be placed in the who column would typically be something that the EDC could work on. And this is obviously not something that can just be tackled this year. There's a lot here.
Right.
But I think maybe after the LRP process, you could probably take a deeper dive into this, since I do think that's going to be pretty time consuming for the next, since it has such a short deadline.
Right.
I'm in a meeting Monday morning with North Brookfield. We finished their project last year, and they have just pulled me in for a conversation about one of the components of the plan that they're ready to move forward on, just for our, as a refresh to kind of go over the details. So just because it's complete and signed off on, hopefully voted on, and with a nice review, that doesn't mean that we're out of the conversation. We're happy to have the conversation on this project
Okay.
as it unfolds.
Okay. So it sounds like the EDC has a kind of a leading role in this, from this point, moving it forward and, trying to figure out where some of these bullets and these items go. And so I guess, maybe give this group, I'm just throwing this out here. I mean, this group can take a final read of the plan, make some further suggestions to you, Kerry, and then you can, if you, give me the go ahead and say, okay, this is final, then we can take it and run with it. A product that you feel is 100% complete, right? And then we'll take it and we can run with it as we see fit, right? We'll disseminate it into the town.
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, sorry. I'll also note that it's obviously been sent to Webster as well.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and that's some of these action items will require some collaboration with Webster potentially, right? So so yeah, this is the next 5-year economic plan, guys, and that's the way I kind of view it, right? I mean, it's something that the Board of Selectmen's looking for some sort of meeting minutes or some update annual report from this group. So that would be probably my suggestion to the board is take a look at this, right? And let's agree on some things here and move some things forward over the next, 1, 3, 5 years. So, does that sound, if everybody can, if you have any comments, I mean, Kerry's welcome to the comments of this group. So can we, have an opportunity? Can you take a look at this? Your voice is welcome. Make some comments to Kerry, and then, Kerry, I'll wait from you. Everybody here can send your comments directly to Kerry is fine. And then, Kerry, when you say that it's final, I would say let's not drag this on. Maybe, maybe by the end of this week, if we have comments, give them to Kerry, and then Kerry, the ball will be in your court, right? From after this week,
Sure.
right? Just want to give you enough time, if make sure that you're happy with the product that's, it's completely vetted and you feel satisfied too, so.
Brian, one suggestion, and if Mark is willing, maybe he and I could sort of look at the who column.
Yeah,
I know Mark has been in town government for a long time.
yep.
And I'm, fairly new to the town, but I think the two of us maybe could sort of come up with some ideas for which boards and commissions in town would be responsible for various items, just as a way to give Kerry some feedback on the plan.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine with me.
all right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Mark, maybe you and I could independently, target those boards and then put our heads together and, see where we agree or disagree and or merge our ideas.
You want to
Sometimes,
look at it independently? Is that what you're suggesting? And then we'll
Yeah.
get together with our, okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't take very long, I think, to, do the initial look through the matrix and figure out who, should have responsibility for those items.
Yeah.
I was gonna say sometimes when it gets to the when column, and instead of putting like 1, 3, 5, sometimes it's just short-term goal, medium goal, long-term goal. Do you know what I mean? Instead of putting a time frame on it, but you're more than welcome to use whatever means you have.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you, and it's great work, and it gives us the vision, and between that, all the stuff that Bill presented today with the planning board on ADA and complete streets, and boy, there's a lot going on, and then we haven't even got hit with the LRRP stuff. It's gonna be and there's a lot of work. It's good, throw it all up and let's make progress. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Brian, it might be, once the plan is finished, to present it to the Board of Selectmen. Obviously, they're, the chief executive board in the town, and they should be
Right.
aware of what this plan says and
Yeah.
lend their support to the other boards and staff that
Yeah.
are going to be charged with implementation.
Yeah. No, I think I think that's completely appropriate. And that was going to be one of my questions. Do we go present this to the board? And that answered my question. So, so once we feel like we're ready, we'll get on their agenda and we'll get it done.
Good.
All right.
I just want to say one thing before I let you guys go. And I don't want to get mushy by any means, but I will say I've seen. We work with a lot of communities, obviously, and 40 of them, and I've seen a lot of evolution in Dudley since my first meeting, and there were visions that were had, and you've all pretty much gone right after them, and it's been really nice to see such a small community work together the way they have, and the energy and the momentum. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks. No, everything we're talking about here is just, it's exciting. It's appropriate, and there's a lot of value to the community. And it's really nice to see, generations in the future, they'll be able to realize the value that we're setting in motion here. And it's, it's good stuff. That's why we're here, right? We want to make an impact on our community. And so everybody's got busy lives, running businesses, and no, I appreciate that, Kerry. And, we're trying, right? Sometimes don't go as fast as we like, but,
You should be proud of yourselves.
we're trying.
Yeah, just
Eric,
as
can you-
as a perspective, many years ago, I can't even remember the date when I had first moved into town, or a few years after I had moved into town, I had gotten involved with the town, and it was the master plan committee. And I remember how daunting of a task it was for us to get involved in it, and trying to capture everything and create this kind of steering mechanism for for the town to say, hey, so when we come, kind of a flow chart, when we get to this point, if it's pointing this direction, what do we do? And if it's pointing that direction, what do we do? And I know that has since expired, probably 10 years ago. And I often wondered in my head, and I'm saying, I didn't want to say anything because someone might say, well, why don't you put a committee together and recreate it? So this actually really feels like the new modern day, document, and so
Yeah.
it's really refreshing to see, and it's so much different than what it was way back when, and the technology and everything else. So yeah, it was, and CMRPC was a huge help way back when we were putting that together. So here they are still, making it all work for us. So yeah, you guys have been a super great resource, for this town as well. So you deserve as much of the credit, in helping us get to where we are right now, as we do. So
Thank
thanks.
you. I appreciate that. I'll tell you, Gemma, who's working on your Complete Streets project. Our junior planners are so strong, and they are total assets to us. So you're in really good hands with Gemma. She's the one that helped me put this together. And I'm really excited to see what Complete Streets does, because that was also probably third on the list when we first started. So to see that happening, to see this all happening at the same time is really amazing. But you're in really good hands with her as far as that project goes.
Great.
Carrie, can you transfer the host back to me again?
Sure.
And then will you be able to send that? So I don't know the last time it was sent, if there were any changes or whatever, but maybe the latest document to us.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Do you want me to jump off?
Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you, Carrie.
No
Thanks,
problem, you guys. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
All right, put it on your calendar for next month.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great to have her come on and just give us a perspective, I think it adds a lot of value, really does. And without saying, obviously, Bill being here, so.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. And, thanks to, the whole group. And, yeah, we'll have our work cut out for ourselves, but it's good to see some things moving forward as always. And, I don't have anything else to, obviously, we can get into we have an opening for a full member on this committee. So please, everybody, please consider anybody you come in contact with that be interested in, contributing to the town of Dudley and in this capacity. Sometimes it's just showing up, right? And just keep it as such, right? People maybe get concerned that they got busy lives already, just participating and contributing and showing up here and helping in that way is acceptable and a way to, make people feel comfortable of participating in a committee, right? So I think is kind of the message I'd like to echo. if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? So that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, so with that said, does anybody have anything else to discuss? Now's your chance.
Yeah, thanks for your continued leadership, Brian. I know it was difficult to, you get a lot of things going on, and to step up and be the chairman and keep everyone pulled together. It's super helpful, and you're doing a great job. So thanks.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Brian, don't we have a vacancy at the
Thank you.
moment of a member?
Yeah. Bill, you looking for, oh, did I say that?
No, do you have any suggestions, or how are we gonna go about, maybe we could recruit somebody if,
Yeah,
Any
that's
of the
what I'm
members-
kind of, I'm looking for, recruiters. Maybe some of these folks that, raised their hand with the letters, the
Right.
flyers we sent out, maybe, I could, go out, talk to them. I don't know. I've never, recruited for a committee before, and any suggestions, I think we could all use a little tutelage, right? For those of you who are experienced in this area. But
So,
So
yeah,
one thing I'll say is the way I was brought into this committee was through the Webster Dudley Business Alliance. They sent out an email, was it a year ago, a little over a year ago?
Yep.
Saying that, there was a board member needed, and that's how I was brought into this group. Maybe something, reach out to them again, see if they can send a shout out to all the businesses and see if there's somebody else that's interested.
we're thinking alike, Jason. It's exactly what I was just going to say. The way we got you was through WDBA. And so I'm still on that board. I'll let them know. And we have some others that are on that board that are part of the Webster Economic Development Committee. So the other person, when Jason reached out, was that reached out as well was Marianne Fontaine from Empire Travel. And I did have a dialogue with her. And so when we brought Jason on board, and she wasn't quite ready. So we can check back in with her, as well as, again, get a shout out on WDBA. Also, I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce, so I'll ask around there as well. We've got a meeting tomorrow, and then we have a board meeting on the 25th, I think, whatever that Monday is. So I'll ask there.
does that answer your question, Bill?
yeah, no, I didn't want
Yeah.
that to slide. I think it's good to
Yeah. No,
try to keep after it.
yeah. No, it's good that you chime in rather than me, hopefully trying to. Yeah, we had an open meeting, we got a secretary, we need a secretary, take meeting minutes. We got all kinds of opportunities here. And what a great time for somebody to get involved. There's all kinds of stuff to participate in, right? So I think it's a great time for this group and for a new member to come on board and make a contribution. So, please reach out to us, anybody that's interested. So thanks for that, Mark, and hopefully we get somebody here shortly. And but anybody else have anything else to? It's been kind of a it's been a good meeting.
Motion
Right.
to adjourn.
Right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So
Aye.
Aye.
here we are, 11:36 a.m. Meeting adjourned. Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
All right.
All
Have
right,
a good
take care,
day.
everybody.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.